So how's it going, guys? So today's video is getting started kind of late, but better late than never. So we're just going to be doing a simple little tool video today, nothing too extravagant. Had a lot going on kind of in the background today, so this is kind of last minute, but at least it gives me something to be able to give you some type of content, and it not just be completely left field. It'll be something that's at least worth watching, like a food for knowledge type video. We've done some of these type of videos in the past, so we're going to be looking at a tool today, actually multiple tools. That's kind of a kit. I recently picked this up. Now I've had this kind of stuff throughout the years, or a variance of it one way or the other, and so I'm gonna go ahead and bring this up and we'll take a look at it. And I think this is something that everybody, whether you're a homeowner or you work on cars, or if you what have you, this is something that can kind of, it rides that fine line of automotive, but also housing, and where it falls into in that category is electrical. These are 3 different tools that I happen to find in a kit. Now granted, I'm not going to say they're the best in the market or the best brand or what have you. It was a cheap little kit I picked up, just something to kind of try out, something different. It was really inexpensive, but again, something that's nice just to have laying in the back of your toolbox or in a junk drawer in your house. It's not something, there's at least 2 tools in here that you will only use maybe ever great once in a while, and then there's one that you could use quite often. Again, these are not the best brand tools in the world, but these are something that you could use and get you through what you need to do. I'm sure there's a much more better brand or better quality or whatever you want to call it out there. This is just what I found. It, like, again, it was really inexpensive, and it does the job. That's the reality of it. But anyway, they're advertising this as a complete household electrical tester kit. Again, I'm going to argue that to a certain degree, because this is also something, at least 2 of these tools, maybe even the 3rd one, could be cross-referenced over into the automotive industry as well. But this is what it looks like. And then if we look at the back of it, it actually has a breakdown of all 4 of the tools here. I'll pull it up a little closer, that way if you want to be able to pause and read that, then you could go ahead and do so. But again, it comes in this little case like this. We'll go ahead and open it up. I did open it. I put one of the batteries in one of the things, the other one I haven't, again. So if I open it up, this is what we end up with here. So we have a multimeter, we have its leads right up there, we have a battery for it. Again, I have not put the battery in this particular multimeter. If you've watched some of my past videos, or if you're up to current on most of my videos, you know that I have, I think this is my 3rd or 4th multimeter. So this I didn't necessarily need, but again, it was part of this kit. So let's just start pulling stuff out and see what we got in this kit. So again, we have multimeter, some very basic leads. I wonder if these do have the pull-aways, so you can kind of see how this is kind of like a protective cover. If it's in a tight area and you need to get further, you can pull that little protective cover off of there. So not too bad. I'm not too impressed with the ends of it. Again, these are really cheap, but you can also get better versions of these, even off of Amazon. for a couple of dollars. It come again with a 9-volt battery for this. And then we have this tool here, which I'll demonstrate all of these for you. So we'll start. Let's read the back of this first, just a second. The multimeter, just the basic layout of it. LCD screen, AC volts, ohms, DC, function selector, input jacks. Basic function of a multimeter. Then this here, since I already have it turned over on the back, is what they call a non-contact voltage tester. So what that means is if I show you here, this little button, if I hit it, it indicates that it has power, but you notice if I hit it, nothing happens, right? So if I actually zoom down here, see how close I can get you. I'm currently in my weight room. So we have an outlet right here. If I pull this out, if I take this right here, we're just going to kind of go around the wall a little bit. Let me get out of the way. So you can see I have it held. So you notice when I go to the hot side of it, I get nothing. But if I go to the negative ground side of it, I get a little bit. So it's just a nice little way to kind of show you that you have power. And this works on light switches as well. My light switch is way over there, so we won't be doing that. But yeah, it's just a simple little way to know that at least you have some type of ground supply there if you ever have an outlet issue. Now I will say I don't have a lot of experience with this tool, so I don't know that you couldn't use this, cross it over into the automotive world somehow. I'm sure there is a way. Now granted, this only does 600 volts. It's a Cat 3. Please don't ask me what that means. I do not know what Cat 3 is. I'm not an electrician. But again, at least if you had an issue with, say, that outlet there, it would at least give you a basic understanding that you have at least a good ground there. Moving on to the next tool, this is something that's, I think, is pretty simple. And it's something that would be convenient, especially if you're trying to figure out if your outlet's bad or if your wiring's bad. Now, this is only going to, in fact, relate to the housing side of things. It's not necessarily going to transfer over to the automotive world. I say that very loosely. I have seen some weird stuff in the past, so take this with a grain of salt. This is what they classify as a GFCI outlet tester. So these are very, very simple in how they work. You have your 3 prongs. You have your ground, you have your positive, and you have your third ground, right? And if we look right here on the back here, if I can get that to focus, I'll tell you what it says. So if it shows 3 lines, meaning these 3 right here, you have a red and 2 amber, okay? So if you have the middle one lit up, it's an open ground. If you have this one here lit up, it's an open neutral. If you get nothing, that's an open hot. If you get an amber, nothing in the middle, and the red, then it's a hot ground reverse. If you get an amber and this one and nothing on this end for this amber, then you have a hot neutral. And then if you simply just get 2 of them, meaning the 2 ambers here on this one and no red, then it's correct. So we know that we have a neutral there. Again, this outlet works. I'm just using this as an example purpose. So if we wanted to test that, all we simply do is just take this, plug it in. Now looking at that, we have the 2 amber and no red. We could use our chart on top and we know that that outlet is correct. So let's just, for funds, we'll pull it and we'll stick it on the bottom one. Same result. So we know that outlet is completely good, right? But say you don't have that type of outlet. Now, unfortunately, I don't have one in here. I do have most of them throughout my home. Again, this is just a weight room for me, so I don't have a need for fancy outlets or this, that, or the other. Most of my stuff in here is weights and a little bit of tool storage. But if you have GC or GFCI, meaning that you have the outlet that in the middle of the outlet, it has the 2 buttons. One says set, one says test. You can actually trip that yourself with this. That's what this button right here is for. And again, I know it does. It's going to be hard to pick up. But what that says is press for GFCI test. So I tried this already, and what it does is when you click this in, just like I do back there, I would hit that button and it will trip the GFCI. Yeah. They make multiple versions of these. You can pick these things up for dollars. You can pick them up anywhere. And again, I normally don't do this in these type of videos, but for this particular kit, I would tell you where it come from. However, I can also tell you that if you were to try to get this kit, it is in fact discontinued. So it's going to be, if they have any left in stock, you might be able to get online on their website and get it. This particular kit, I will tell you where it came from at the end of the video. Now the next thing in here, I've never actually seen one of these. I did play with it for a minute. Thought it was actually kind of interesting because this is also something that could transfer over not only to house, but it would also transfer over to the automotive side of things. But this is something that I think everybody would benefit from, in the sense that everybody has one of these in their home, from your significant other, to your kids, to your grandmother, to your uncle, to your peepaw, to whoever. This is a USB multimeter. I've never heard of one of these, so I was like, what does this do? This is actually new to me. I've never heard of it. I've never seen it. But I'm going to tell you what it does. It does 2 simple things. It reads voltage and it reads current. So on the voltage side of things, this will read from 3 volts to 5.5 volts. On amps, it will read from amps. It will read 0 amps to 3 amps. Again, I happen to be like everybody else and I have a charger here. So if I bring this down here, I'm actually going to bring you guys in a little bit closer here for this particular one. So I'm going to take this old cell phone charger. This is one that my kids just happen to have laying around for when he's playing his consoles and needs to charge his controller and what have you. That's a cheap charging block. But if I needed to know if it was any good or not, just simply plug it in. And that tells me, I don't know if you can see that or not, it will bounce back and forth between volts and the amps. So right now, this particular one is bouncing between 4.98 volts and 0.06 amps. Now, if you're like me, when it comes to house electrical, I will tell you there is a little bit of night and day difference between housing electrical and automotive electrical, if I can get that out. There is quite a bit of difference in the two. The premise is the same, but there is quite a bit of difference between them. So one thing I wanted to try, I have not tried this yet. I want to take this basic cord, and actually I'll show you this real fast because I thought this was kind of interesting. This plugs into the outlet. There's also another one right there. So what I thought would be cool is maybe if we take a phone charger cable, plug it in there. So as of right now, if I bring this down, I'm currently reading at 4.98 volts. I want to plug this in and see if it changes anything. Okay. It is now telling me that I'm with it plugged into my device here, I'm currently drawing 1.15 to 1.16 amps or 5.15 volts. And then if I unplug it again, let's see if that changes anything. We're slowly dropping down. Now we're down to 0.06 amps and we are at 5.01 volts. So that is kind of interesting to know that you can take that and use it in a sense of if you have a recording device like this, or if your kid's gaming controller or laptop or anything that has a USB port on it, you can test it to see what kind of draw it has and what it produces without any type of draw from an actual device. So I think to a certain degree that's kind of interesting. I'm sure there's quite a few good applications for that. I thought myself, for me, this would be good to tell me if a phone charger is good, if it's actually sending power through it or not, this, that, or the other. Because for me, I don't know how, but I managed to go through a lot of chargers like that, the USB type chargers. I don't know how, I don't know why, but we do. So having something like this would be beneficial in the sense that we can now kind of test it and see if they're actually good or not, or if they're not, then I need to just throw them in the trash. I'm sure each one has a different rating on how much it should be outputting on it, and if it's not within that range, then we know it's not going to be efficient and it's going to take longer for something to charge, or it could potentially damage something. That's just me guessing. Don't hold me to it. Again, I'm not a housing electrical expert. I took the bare minimum amount of electrical, housing electrical when I was in college, and that's just because I had to. So I know the bare minimum. The last and final tool is kind of the first tool that we started with in this aspect of it. Again, I didn't take the time to put a battery in this because I have much better options laying around. But just to show you the one in the kit, this is about as basic as it gets. This is the same style that you would find at your Walmarts or, anywhere that sells any type of electrical stuff. You can find these in the automotive section of Walmart. Every single parts house has something similar to this on their shelves. Most retailers that have housing, electrical, or automotive stuff usually have something like this kicking around on their shelves. That's not to say it's not bad, but it's definitely not the best option that you can get. This one, again, as I said, it's very basic. You go from you have your volts, you have your ohms, you have your volts AC, you have your volts DC. Very super basic. Again, it's not, I didn't put the battery in it because, again, I have much better options in this particular one, but again, it was part of the kit, and it never hurts to have one as a backup kicking around. I actually have one very similar to this that I picked up at Walmart for about 15-20 bucks a couple of years ago, and I literally just keep it kicking around in my toolbox as a backup in case my good one happens to die on me, which has happened right when I needed it. So having something like this kicking around for when your good one dies and you don't have a battery handy at the moment, this isn't a bad option to go to. Again, it did come with the 9-volt battery already for it, as well as this one did come with the AAA nice little carrying case. It's pretty basic. It does have the foam cutouts already, which I can appreciate. And it does have the little lock tabs on it. And this is something that you could just throw in a junk drawer, or you could just chuck in your toolbox, or maybe it's something that, you know, if you have a rental property and you don't want to spend a lot of money on expensive tools, this is a decent little option that way. Or if you want to loan it out to somebody, whatever, rather loan out this than something like, if I can get it out, I'd rather loan out a multimeter like that that's like 15-20 bucks versus one that's like this that is significantly more. But this one also does more and is better quality than this. Again, I told you I would tell you kind of toward the end of the video here, as we start to end it off here, that I would tell you where I picked this up at. I picked this particular kit up at my local Menards. It was on discontinued clearance for $15.45, somewhere in there, almost 16 bucks. For 16 bucks, that's not bad, because again, this multimeter right here ranges anywhere between 15 and 25 depending on where you go and where you're shopping at for this particular one. So to get not only this, or to put it in context for you, let me open this back up. To put it in better context, that's buying this multimeter, right, with the leads, and getting this, this, and this for absolutely free. This one here is about 20 bucks at Walmart. They do have this particular one at Menards by itself. It's not, I don't think it's this one, but it's very similar to this one. Really, really basic. And it's about 15 bucks in itself. So for the price of this, you're getting all of this plus a carrying case for about 20 bucks. Or I'm sorry, for the price of the one tool. Again, this was $15 and like 30, 40 something cents, something like that. So not bad. Again, it was discontinued. You may be able to find it on their website. One of the stores may have it near you, kicking around on their shelves. Again, it's worth a shot. I just happened to find it on one of their shelves, picked it up, and thought, why not? Let's give it a shot, right? So that's it for this video. Again, I know this wasn't the greatest video in the world as far as what we could do versus what we did. Again, I had a lot of stuff going on in the background, and I always try to get something posted Wednesdays for main videos, and then short videos, like no more than 3 minutes, my shorts, I try to get those when I can. Those are just kind of hit or miss when they do happen, or when I can make something work out into 3 minutes or less. I try to do those. I don't have a specific day or time when I post that type of stuff. Um, my main channel videos, or my main videos rather, because I only have one channel, I try to post those on Wednesdays if I can. At the latest, I'll post them on Thursdays. If something happens where I have a weekend off and I have a decent little project, but I have time to do it, sometimes I will post a video on, say, a Saturday or a Sunday. That's kind of sporadic. It doesn't happen a lot. Most of my stuff will be posted on Wednesday. Right now, this one will probably be uploaded. It will be considered Thursday as of right now. Again, it's about 11:30 at night, so by the time we get this done and get it uploaded, it'll be considered Thursday. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But yeah, that was it for this video. Again, I know it wasn't the most entertaining, not necessarily car related, but again, the multimeter, that can definitely be used in the automotive world. If you watch my videos, you'll see in a lot of my past videos that I use multimeters. I think I used it real recently, probably 2 or 3 videos ago. The micro USB voltage reader, I think that could be related to the automotive side of things, just because most modern cars have a USB port somewhere in your car. So if it's not functioning, that might be a good way to just kind of click in there and see what's going on, if you're getting a type of reading or not. And if you're not, then you could check into, like, say, your fuses, or maybe you have a wire issue or whatever. But at least that'll tell you what kind of power you have, if you have power at all, if it's weak, if it's good, what have you. So that is a good way to get some kind of use out of that in the automotive side of things. Now, again, like the multimeter, decent for a kick around. Not necessarily the best quality thing, but definitely not the worst. I've definitely seen worse than that. But yeah, like I said, that's pretty much it for this one. As always, I appreciate you guys coming back week after week, time after time. If you aren't subscribed, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. We're always trying to produce bigger, better quality videos, and the more likes and subscribes we get, the bigger our channel gets, the more viewers we get, the better our videos, and it's also just a way to get knowledge out to everyone, out to the generations. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one.